Hey everyone!
Welcome to another episode of our podcast. Before we get started on the topic today, Josh, how was your week?
Well, my week is very nice. I have a super long weekend. I just came home. It's the family day long weekend. Mm-hmm. So I came back home for a conference, but the conference was canceled, unfortunately. But because of that, I already had the time off, so I decided to come back home anyways. It's been kind of nice, just like being with family, and because I know like the restrictions are not like too bad right now. Oh, actually got just lifted, I think yesterday. Some of the restrictions got lifted. Yeah. But I guess since Christmas time, I was talking about how I felt a little more free, a lot more connected to people. But then January was kind of when they kind of closed the gyms and all those things too. So like a lot of my activities stopped, unfortunately. But it's starting to happen again. So coming back home was kind of nice to kind of have some kind of interaction with my family. And this morning, my mom and I, this morning at 6:30 a.m., me and my parents went on a 1 hour walk just around the neighborhood and just chatting about life and how they're like excited for me to come home, which is really sweet. And then this morning, my mom and I started baking. She wanted me to help her with my mom's not much of a baker, so we made a no-bake cheesecake and these like Chinese desserts. I don't know what they're called in English. I can show it to you later. Yeah. It's kind of nice.
What does desserts look like?
They're like kind of like they're like circular, kind of this thick, and they are kind of looks like a Reese's cup kind of shape, but they're kind of like not jelly, but like firm. I don't remember what it's called Chinese anymore.
I'm picturing egg tart, but that's not jiggly.
You know, the one time, speaking of egg tarts, one time we had a homestay who lived downstairs when our downstairs used to be a basement suite, and they had made egg tarts for my parents, and instead of putting sugar, they put salt.
Oh no!
Salty egg.
Salty.
But yeah, it's been kind of nice just chilling and kind of resting. What is that?
Kind of resting?
Like,
what
I feel
kind
of like I'm relaxing in a way.
Oh.
I'm never relaxed.
Is it weird?
It's a weird thing.
Or do you feel anxious when you're resting?
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like this, I'm like, I need to do something or I need to get work done. Yeah. But like, I'm really trying to keep my work at work as much as I can. But it's hard as a teacher. Like, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
How was your week, Catherine?
It was good. We went on a little excursion to what was it called again? The castle?
It's a castle where X-Men was filmed.
Yeah.
Hatley Castle.
Yeah. So we went there, we had a little excursion and took pics. So that was fun. But on the way back
this is so weird.
This is from afar, we're like descending down the hill and Josh is like, my trunk's open. And we're like, oh no.
I think my anxiety skyrocketed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my parents' car. So like, I'm like, oh my gosh, did something get stolen?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't even like your own car.
It was in my car.
So we like walked
It wasn't
faster.
even Robin.
Walk faster.
We walked faster. I think I gave you my tripod.
Yep.
I'm like, hold my tripod.
Like, oh, we're going.
I'm going. And we checked the trunk. Luckily, like, I called my dad. He said nothing was in the trunk. And then we looked for our stuff because we had things in the car. And it was fine, I guess.
Yeah. It was a pretty good area.
Yeah.
Considering.
There wasn't a lot of people around, so, like, didn't really think of it. But while we were there on our car, we saw what, Catherine?
So there was this paper left on the windshield of the car. I thought it was like a ticket or something. But it was just some like, what would you even describe this as? Like a rant?
It's like somebody, okay, so we thought it was a ticket, and then I realized that everybody else also had it on their cars.
So it's just like a sheet of paper of some person just like ranting about, did you read the whole thing?
I did, but I don't remember what it said.
I don't know. So, okay, to begin, he titles it, Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada bring forward measures to counter the rise of psychosocial dynamics conducive to torture, ill treatment, and electromagnetic warfare. This is a really long sentence. It keeps going.
It's very grammatically incorrect.
Yeah.
So it kind of threw me off, but I still read it because I was so intrigued by this person.
It hurts me to read this.
Just hurts my dyslexia. Like, I can't read already.
I don't have dyslexia and it hurts.
I think some of the words are really close together too. Like it kind of combined. So I had a really hard time reading it yesterday.
He's just like complaining about how he thinks like the government is somehow like controlling him and brainwashing him through these like remote like chips or something.
Yeah. I remember, I think they were saying how there's like he was saying how he like was getting like harassed and like chased or something, and how he needed help. But it was really like it was talking about how like the 5 topics that he put on his paper were total surveillance, mind reading, mind control, dream manipulation, using neural weapons, remote neutral monitoring module. That's 1. 2 is invisible physical harassment, directed energy weapons. 3, disruption of thought freedom by voice to skull. 4, harmful effects. 5, total loss of privacy.
I'm just trying to figure out what he was trying to accomplish with this, because it's not like he's asking for help. He didn't leave any contact. There's a name.
There's no contact.
There's no contact information. There's nowhere to like report anything to.
Paul, if you're listening to our podcast, we hope you're okay. Honestly, we hope that you're safe and you're okay. And also, I think when we were leaving, we thought we saw him with all the papers.
Yeah. So it could be. It was a school. It could be anyone.
It was honestly really weird.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we didn't get. I thought things were gonna get stolen in our car, and I thought that was like a paper telling us if we got like robbed.
Can you imagine? Haha, stole your stuff.
It got him.
Oh.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh, also, there's a picture of me. I probably won't post it. The Catherine really wanted me to go down a railing, and unfortunately, there's some like got marks on my jacket. But update, it's clean. It cleaned it all off.
Yes.
But it hurt my butt. Like literally, I could when I jumped on the railing, I could feel it moving.
Slammed the railing.
I should post it on the story, like as one of the things.
Yeah. Good times.
That was fun.
That was good.
It's fun to like dress up and get some nice photos taken.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a vibe.
To feel like bougie.
You feel
Like
bougie.
model.
You also just feel like then people think you have your life put together.
Just fake it till you make it.
Break it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Hey guys, if you've been enjoying the podcast, make sure to check us out on YouTube. We post extra videos like podcast games and bonus content. We also have Instagram and TikTok, where we post even more things you won't see on Spotify or YouTube. Check them all out at RiceWashed Podcast and make sure to follow and subscribe.
What are we talking about today, Catherine? As you're drinking your
As I
bubble
take
tea.
a sip. We are doing part 2 of our childhood trauma.
I feel like every time we see a meme or a video, Catherine and I always send it to each other and then we trigger each other. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Triggering. It's nice because like you relate
Yes.
to like I think all of them I've sent you. You're just like, yep.
It's crazy how much we relate on certain things. Like I don't think we never really talked about it.
How much we relate to our childhood trauma.
Because I think we both just see each other's moms as cute moms. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see
Yeah.
my mom as really cute. I see your mom as really adorable.
Yeah.
But that's it.
That's
But
the side
maybe
they show other
is that
people.
like the Asian mom
persona?
like mask?
Probably.
So do they get a point where like they become super adorable mothers, like from like outside perspective? Is this a thing?
Probably.
Oh.
Let us know if you're
Is your
Asian
mom
mothers.
adorable in your friends' eyes? Or I mean, to be fair, I know some friends whose friends are terrified of moms. Like some of my friends are terrified of my mom. That's interesting. Well, maybe because we grew up with her.
Yeah.
I think for you guys didn't really grow up with her that much.
Yeah.
So my mom literally my mom has the biggest resting face, and so like for example, whenever she walks into a room with kids, they all just go dead silent.
Oh, poor kids.
And I kind of learned how to do that a little bit, which is kind of nice.
How to silence a room with just your face.
One memory of that is we had this thing called VBS, which is like a Bible camp in the summer. And there's these kids who were just like running around the sanctuary, so much noise. And my mom walks into the room, and I remember it just went dead silent. Like you could hear a pin drop, and we're all like, "Wow."
You know what I think? Just when I see her, she has this very authoritative vibe to her. Like it's not like she has the face, sure, but then it's just her general vibe. It's just like intense.
I think it's funny because she has that, but she's actually a very sensitive person. very sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's how they kind of get by. They kind of just like put
It's
on
the
this front.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, the first thing we're talking about is parent reacting to our emotions. A couple of weeks ago, Catherine sent me this or tagged me in this meme that like talked about how. Actually, let me find it. Talked about how parents react to us when we are emotional or like hurting, and I thought it was so triggering.
God.
Because it made me
so
kind of like
triggered.
spiral into like a whole bunch of like thoughts. Okay, here we go. What I can never understand is our culture getting mad at the child for getting hurt, physically or emotionally. Then we wonder why they don't open up to us when they get older.
Mm-hmm. I saw this and instantly was like, oh, wow. Yeah.
I haven't thought about
My
that.
childhood. Yeah. Do you have any like examples?
Ooh, examples.
Of-
Okay, so I think generally the hardest thing about growing up with my mom is that like whenever I was sad, she would always just tell me either to like get over it or that it's my fault that I'm sad. And so then like that never helped me because then I got into like a cycle of blaming myself that these bad things are happening to me. So like for example, let's say, you know, in high school I wasn't doing well emotionally just because of things that were happening in high school. But then I would come home and like be really upset or frustrated and she'll be like, get over it. And then I'm like, oh, well, I guess those people who bullied me is not their fault. It's my fault. That's maybe an example.
Yeah.
How about you?
Something similar. I just remember from as a kid, for whatever reason, if I would get like hurt or I'd be crying or something, she would always just say, oh, that's enough. Stop crying. So I was never able to like fully let out all my emotions. And that was also that made me feel like, oh, like I'm not getting validated or any support, because she wouldn't offer any support either. It was just like, oh, that's it. Stop crying. That's enough. That's enough.
Like my dad is like was kind of similar too, and then kind of get over it, but also kind of more of like, hey, it's okay, it'll be okay, it's fine. And then like, but it was kind of like still kind of said as kind of like just get over it quickly, rather than process why you're upset, I think. And I think like even as a kid, like, you know, sometimes when we're sad or upset, we don't know why, like we don't really understand why, and then because of that it made me not understand my emotions growing up. And so like it was only until I went to therapy where I realized a lot of my sadness was actually anger. But that was like when I was an adult, not like, I wonder if like they actually let us process it or talk through it with us, it would have changed.
I feel like it would have changed so much. I feel like it would have helped me in like my teen and adult years so much.
Yeah.
But you can't change that.
It's like, okay, so my question is like, how do you as an adult, when you what is your first instinct or first reaction to emotion, like sadness or anger?
I'm trying to think. What do I do? Usually, okay, a lot of my times when I'm reacting to feelings, I cry. So that's, I think, probably a good thing. I think, because it's like an emotional release, right? And then I've learned just through like therapy and stuff that I've gone to just like sit with it and not try and run away. I feel like before, I think I probably like did the running away where you just like distract yourself or something, which is obviously not healthy.
Not healthy.
But yeah, I'm learning to process things and sit with things and write it out and all that stuff.
I find it interesting when you say like sit with it, because I think for me it's like if I get really angry or really sad, I instantly close up. So I kind of go to myself. I kind of isolate myself from people because I don't want people to deal with it. You know what I mean? So then, but then for me, it's like that's kind of for me sitting with it. That's kind of how I take it.
I think there are different ways that people can sit with it. So whatever, like some people like to like verbally process it with other people like to isolate themselves. Like I think whatever works is as long as you're like trying to process the emotion, I think that's good.
I learned as I got older that I'm like a verbal processor. So like literally if something were to happen and I would just not say anything, I think I would just blow up. But if I like let's say something happened to me and I talk to somebody about it, then I'm fine. Like
Yeah.
literally, like, can I rant for like 5 minutes or vent for 5 minutes and then I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so like luckily, like I have like friends like you guys who like are willing to just listen to me. I'm like, can I just like rant for like 5 minutes? And you're like, okay. And then that's it. But then when I was a kid, I was like, I think I wanted to vent as a child.
Yeah.
But my parents were just like, shut up.
Yeah, I guess we just never got the chance to.
Mhm.
Just kept getting like pushed down and like bottled up and yeah.
It's not a healthy thing.
No.
Everyone processes emotions differently. So I think it's important for you to kind of try to figure out what the best thing is for you. Like some people do need time alone to process it themselves and then deal with it. But some people need to deal with it right away. Or else it kind of like just sits there.
Festers.
And keeps talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little brain bug.
I also had like, I think because of how my mom and dad reacted, I talked about it earlier, it was that it also didn't help. Like first thing is always like, oh, I'm too sensitive. Like it's my fault I'm too sensitive, not their fault that they hurt me. Do you know what I mean? So then because of that, I kind of went into like a long like process of trying to get out of that rut of like, no, that person did something wrong to me and it's okay for me to feel upset about it. Yeah.
I wonder if, like, because of our childhoods, we grew up to be more sensitive than what we could have been. You know?
In what way?
Like, I wonder if we had been taught to, like, process our emotions and verbalize our emotions properly, would we have grown up as, like, less sensitive individuals?
I think if we had a chance to properly process things, I think that we would have been still sensitive, but had tools to deal with it.
So we wouldn't have struggled as much.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I think like this is why our culture is this way, is because there's just a whole bunch of issues and struggles that people don't deal with, and it just kind of carries over to the next generation.
That's the intergenerational trauma.
Yeah, and so I think that is the issue. But like, you know, I've seen different families and like Chinese, I say, for example, Chinese families where the parents are like woke. You know, they're like actually understand things, are so patient and kind with their kids.
Are they, like, when you see that, are they like second gen parents?
So I've seen some who are first. Like, and I think it's because they went through something difficult in their adult life and then they went through that. Do you know what I mean? And so I have seen like really kind and patient parents before, but not usually not first generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Good
like
for them
deal
to
with
break
it.
that.
Yeah, deal with it.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. But
Well,
I wonder, like, I always tell myself, I feel like this is maybe a good thing to know is like, if you want to become a parent, I think that it's important for you to go to therapy or counseling to kind of understand yourself before you cause trauma on your child.
And it's funny because like parents don't realize how they treat, like how their actions affect their kids sometimes, I feel like. Projecting is what it is.
Literally, my life.
Your life is just a whole projection.
Yeah, my mother. The next point I wrote down was that, so I'm currently going to something called Freedom Sessions, which is basically like Christian therapy. And so every session I like post on my like private Instagram story to like you guys, like processing like my sessions has been really eye-opening, but it's been opening a lot of trauma wounds. And so in the whole process of it, I know that I'm very much like my mom, and so that's why we clash a lot. And because of that, you know, there's a lot of anger and whatnot. But I realized that I also had anger towards my dad because he never stood up for me. And that was like a huge wake-up call to me. Like I was like, oh, wow. Like I never really thought of that, because you know my dad, he's very soft-spoken, very sweet, very kind person. And so I think he has a hard time with the confrontation. And because of that, he kind of just let my mom rip at us. But then like never followed up. You know, he would kind of just be like, it's okay. But then never really like said like, you know what, like it's okay to be frustrated or angry or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting because you usually think, oh, it's the, I guess, aggressor parent that would be the issue. But then there is also the parent that just kind of like, what would you call that? Stand by? No.
Yeah, in a way.
Stand by?
Stand
There's
by.
a better word for this. I can't think of it.
Bystander.
Yeah. Switch the word.
That's just the words.
It's a bystander parent that could do more.
Yeah.
But doesn't.
And I think it's like, for me, it's like, in a way, he allowed it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurt like all of us, you know, like it hurt us emotionally. And I wonder if he stood up for us. And I think he's standing up for us more as adults now. But it's like we're now adults where we kind of can understand our emotions better already. But as a child, you don't know what's going on. You have no clue what's going on in your head, right?
Yeah.
And why you feel, you know, attacked or offended or whatever. But I think it would have changed a lot if he stood up for us more.
I had a thought. I usually, like, when you're scrolling through TikTok or like Facebook or whatever, I'll sometimes see these videos of parents like actually teaching their kids how to properly like express their emotions, and I feel jealous because I'm like, oh, I didn't get that. But it's also like good for this kid because they are going to grow up so like emotionally
Aware.
Yeah. They're gonna get a good start.
It's actually interesting that you say that because, like, as an adult, and I know I'm upset or whatever, I would do stuff that I know will help me. But my parents kind of like, "What are you doing?" kind of thing. Like, for example, if I'm really like sad or angry, sometimes I would just like sit like on my couch, my favorite couch in the house, in the giant window, just look outside, just quiet. Or like I would like, I'm going out. Like people are like, "Oh, what's that?" Like I just would leave and just like go for a walk. Or, and for them, it's like, this is weird because I guess they never really had a chance to process their emotions. So maybe that's why they don't really know how to either.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting to me.
It is interesting.
Yeah. I
know my mom just goes with it. If I storm out the door, she's like, okay, bye. Bye. I do the same thing too. I'll either go for like a walk or I'll go for a drive or something.
Or I would just rant to one of you guys.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I would put my headphones in and my dad, I'm going to rant. He's like, oh, okay. And I'm just like yelling at my friend in the microphone. He can't hear anything, right? Just me just yelling.
Yelling at the back.
Honestly, after I rant, I'm done. Like I feel so much more free.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you ever journal?
Not really.
No.
I actually found like me doing those like verbal processing on my sessions actually really helped me. Like it kind of made me just rethink about everything that happened that night, and then like it kind of stays with me longer. Keeps me at peace, I think.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you journal?
I do.
Yeah,
I did a lot in like high school, and then there was a period where I stopped, and then I kind of started doing it again in the past couple of years. It's nice. Get all your thoughts out.
I think I just like I don't like reading or writing. So that's probably why I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I think these are kind of connected. Parents encouraging emotions and how to comfort us.
Yeah. I kind of touched on that.
Yeah, they never encouraged emotions, really.
No, I don't ever. Like, I don't know, as a kid, when I would get upset, I would just, like, put myself in timeout. Just, like, hide in my room and just sulk until I felt better. I don't ever remember, like, getting checked up on. Like, they would literally just, like, leave me.
Wait, did you... Is this how they checked up on you?
I don't remember.
Hey, I got some fruit for you.
The apology fruit?
Yeah, the apology fruit.
Yeah.
Or that we know our child is sad, so I'm going to feed them.
Yeah. It's just food. The apology food.
That's probably why when I'm sad, I like to eat a lot.
You associate it with...
That's probably that reason.
Oh, no. Sad eating.
I think it's interesting because, like, you think about, like, what I thought about as a kid was, like, why are you allowed to get angry but I'm not? I remember, like, countless times where I was upset at something And then my mom would just yell at me, and I would be like, but why can you yell at me and I can't yell?
It's so confusing as a kid.
Right? And so I think that made me really confused.
Yeah.
And like, this is me. I also thought of, this is me. I'm weak. Like, is emotions weak? Am I weak? Am I too sensitive?
Yeah.
Right? But like, it's fine that you yell and cry, but I can't. So like, it didn't like, and maybe that also like the being a boy and like crying is not for men or whatever, which is stupid, because this is why a lot of guys go through a whole bunch of crap and then girls have to deal with that because guys don't get the help they need
like
to be a human being.
I always hear from like my friends, there's so many like emotionally unavailable men out there, and it's so frustrating. And then you always hear like more men need to go talk about their feelings and go to therapy, and because that mindset is super toxic. The fact that the fact that guys can't express their emotions because it's not manly. Like,
honestly, like I think it's like it makes someone so much more like attractive when like they are emotionally aware, because then they can, one, take care of themselves, two, take care of somebody else because they know how to. Right? So like honestly, it works for both ways. Like if a guy or a girl, it's like, I mean, there are also like, you know, usually guys are always kind of quote unquote the ones who are unavailable. There are also, you know, women who are like way too emotional and don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's different spectrums to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I can just imagine a super unemotional guy and an overly emotional woman, or, you know, whatever gender.
Oh yeah, whatever you are.
But
emotional
like that
person,
dynamic would just be like, oh.
It'd be tough. It'd be really tough, and I think that's a little my parents.
Yeah.
But like my dad is kind of like a sponge. He just kind of soaks everything in. He just kind of like nothing, and he doesn't say anything about it. Yeah. So like a lot of things that happen at church, he doesn't tell anything else. Like for example, a lot of the drama that happened in our church years ago, like I don't know anything about because he just kind of held it to himself.
That's a bit worrisome.
Yeah, it's worrisome, but like he's fine, I guess. Like I don't know how he does it.
He must have another outlet.
I hope he does. I don't. Like, I don't know who he talks to.
Talks to God.
God, the best friend. So I can like, because of the lack of encouragement, like, and like the idea of like my parents not really getting like the tools to deal with their emotions, because then they don't know how to deal with our emotions. That's probably why they just yell at us to just stop.
Yeah.
I bet you that's what their parents did to them.
Oh, definitely. 100%. Because that's all they would know.
A cycle of nope.
She's like, oh, you're going to break that cycle.
I want to. I'm so ready for that.
If I have children, break that cycle. They are going to know how to communicate.
Funny thing. Not really funny, but today, my mom had a day off teaching piano. And so like, context that she used to teach all the time, like 7 days a week, full-time mom, whatever, crazy. I don't know how she did it, but we always told her, one, charge your students more so then they'll quit until you teach less kids. Two, get a day off because like you're probably exhausted and tiring. And she always said no, like to be fair, financial stability and all those things too. But I remember her saying today, she's like, wow, it's so nice to have a day off. I feel so much more relaxed. I'm like, yeah, I mean, we kept telling you because then you wouldn't be so pissed off at us all the time. And it like totally slipped my tongue today. And she was just quiet. And I was like, oops. Shoot. I was like,
mouth moment.
But then I think she kind of was like, oh, that's true.
I think it's good that came out because parents need like a, what else? What do you call it?
A wake up call?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like it was always like she was always so stressed out that every little thing we did just pissed her off. So like we always kind of like feel like we're like stepping on eggshells. But because we're like, we don't know how she will react.
Yeah.
And because she was so stressed and tired. But like if she just took care of herself even just one day, man, I think it would have changed how she treated us. And now like she's so rested, she doesn't get mad. Like that's the thing.
That's so nice. I wonder Because I've done this before. Like, there was a period where I was, like, going through stuff. And to, like, help me, I was just, like, working all the time. Just to, like, distract myself. So I wonder if that was, like, a thing for her.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that she wouldn't be able to, like...
Probably so she
process
just had to deal with it.
Yeah.
And now that you say that, whenever she's in a uncomfortable emotional situation, she just kind of goes like, I'm gonna go now.
Go where?
Like just go watch TV in her room or something. Like let's say what's an example? For example, we would have like conversations at the table. I would be talking to my dad about like something I'm dealing with or like school, and my mom will kind of be like, oh, you guys can talk, and she'll just leave, and I'm like,
no, stay.
Yeah, this is mom, stay. But I think she just doesn't know how to deal with that. Like she
makes
doesn't.
people
She's
uncomfortable,
right?
Then they don't know what to do with that.
Wait. I'm just like everything's triggering right now. When I was younger, my mom hated when my brothers and I fighted. She would get mad at us fighting. So I think it's because she didn't want to deal with that. That's so interesting. Everything's connected.
Yeah, everything's triggering to you.
I'm just a triggered individual. But I think like she honestly just was uncomfortable with the idea of emotions, and I think because she never dealt with it, she just you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. To be fair, I feel like I was at that point one time. Just probably because I couldn't figure out my own emotions, that other people's were also super uncomfortable. But now that I'm figuring stuff out, it's better.
Same. I agree.
Yeah. Go to therapy.
Honestly,
like
I think everyone should go once.
Like even if you like don't think you need it.
Yeah.
Like I would still encourage it because you never know.
If you I want to say this. If you think you don't need therapy, I think you do need therapy.
You probably do.
Yeah.
You're just in denial.
Denial, pride, get that ego out of the way. Just it's really important to explore your emotions because it does affect you for the rest of your life.
And therapy can be super scary. Like you're literally meeting this person for like a stranger for the first time and like completely opening up. Like that's scary.
But it's
for
like
some people. But afterwards,
relieving in some way because they don't know you.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just literally say anything.
Yeah.
They don't have no background on you, so they're just like,
cool.
Okay.
It was one time I like, so when I was going through therapy, I realized, a lot of it was anger, and I like started just like out loud, and I made my person cry.
You made your therapist cry?
And that's not good. You're not supposed to like really like, what's the word? You're not supposed to be emotionally involved with your client, right? You're supposed to just be, But like, she told me that she could feel like me finally like clicking and like processing all this anger I actually had in my heart for people. Yeah. Sorry.
Your therapist cry.
Sorry. I have a gift of making people cry.
I don't know if that's a...
I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm really good at finding everyone's strengths and weaknesses.
Hey everyone! Hope you enjoyed today's episode where we trigger each other again by further talking about our childhood traumas. If you want to help make us feel better and heal our validation-deprived inner children, make sure to like, rate, share, and follow. We appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going a little bit away from the emotional damage. Cue that
emotional damage.
But this kind of hit me today, or as I came back. I came home, and my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, you got skinnier," and I was like, "Yes,"
Hello.
but also like,
whatever happened to hi, how are you?
Yeah, right. Like, but like, I was just like, dang it! Like, I'm letting it win too. Like that satisfaction. Someone came home. That satisfaction. But then, like, I showed her some of the photos we took, and she said this that kind of like bothered me. It's like, wow, you actually look nice for once.
Ow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, you could actually maybe be a model. Like
those critiques again.
Those critiques, but also like, I'm your child, and like, you're noticing it now because I'm skinnier. Like, I can still be handsome with a little chubbiness, okay?
Yeah. A little
Okay.
weight.
A little
hurt
weight.
Anybody.
So the love handles.
It's funny because I showed my mom my picture this morning too, and I was like, "Oh, well, you can look and like you can swipe and look," and she was like, "Oh," she looked at 2, and she's like, "Oh, that's nice." And I gave the phone back, and I was like, "But my photos."
But you know what? Probably inside, she's probably was like, "Oh, these are really nice." Like, you know what I mean?
It was weird. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, whatever."
And then you should be like, "How does Josh look?" But you know what? I bet if you're like, "Hey, look at these cool pictures of Josh," she probably would scroll through them.
Oh wow, he looks so handsome.
Right? Same thing if I
Wow.
show my mom, "Hey, look at these pictures of Catherine," she probably would have scrolled through them.
Let's just listen to that.
They hate us.
They're their own children.
Right?
Oh goodness.
Okay. This is something that as we were talking about this, what triggered me is that like I sometimes have a hard time showing my parents the things I do, like my videos, my singing covers, all those things, because I feel like I have this instilled thought that I can't be proud of myself because it'll be pride. So I remember as a kid, I was always be like, "Mom and Dad, look, I got this grade or I did this performance," and they'd be like, "Don't be prideful."
Oh.
And I was just like, and for me, it's
Good
like,
job.
but like I worked hard, like just kind of like what you wanted. Like, is it not okay for me to like be?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was like a spiral of just me being insecure and like trying to find that like when it will be good enough kind of thought. And similar to like me, like even the fact that I showed them my photos was like a big step for me because I'm always just like, what are they gonna say? Are they gonna criticize me? Like, are they gonna hate it? So kind of seeking approval maybe. And it's like it's just so weird.
It's funny you say that because I didn't realize, but I do the same thing. Like I don't really show her anything just because I guess I'm afraid of like the critique or the lack of like support. So it's just gonna be like showing it and then just being dismissed.
And like my parents are definitely getting better at it. Like, like for example, when they saw me do my first concert as a teacher, like they were like, "We're so proud," or like, you know, some of my photos were like, "Oh, those are really nice photos." So like they're getting better at being more vocal about like them being proud of us. But I mean, when you're told as a kid like do better, it just kind of sticks with you for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
And my latest freedom session was like an eye-opening thing for me because I had realized that like, you know, I still seek approval. I already know that, but I had asked one of the leaders to pray for me, and he was just praying, and then he said, "I feel like God is trying to tell me like this message that he's proud of you." And I started crying.
I would have sobbed.
Yeah, and I was just like, "What the heck?" Like, I never realized how much that still bothers me, like as a teacher, like individual pursuits, you know, all those things. I was like, wow, like I still have struggled with that, like to this day.
It's a tough thing too. Definitely, it's not something that gets resolved overnight.
But it's like, when would I be content? Do you know what I mean? Like I always feel like I'm lacking or not achieving, and like I got a full-time job after I graduated.
Yeah.
I have 2 degrees.
Yeah.
I have a car. I don't know what else I have. I have like good supportive friends. I have, you know, all these things, and for me, I'm still just like, I can do better. I should do better. Do better. Like, it's a stupid voice in my head that like keeps telling me that, and it's annoying.
It is annoying. I also kind of see how that can be a good thing because at the same time, you're also wanting to always better yourself, which is also good. You're not just like sitting stagnant.
That's true, but
So I can see
I
that
just
as a
want
good
that
thing.
like
But I can understand how it's super nagging.
that's that balance. Just like, you know what? It's good. I'm gonna keep working hard, but I'm okay where I am at right now.
I'm sure there are like older people that are still like that.
Probably all Asians.
Excuse Josh as he chokes on.
Choking on my boba.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if like that point of like contentment seems so strange to me. Like I don't know if it's an actual thing. It might be. I'm sure there's people that are like super content and then
Like, I just want to be at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm financially stable to just, it's okay for me to go eat out once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for me to, do a trip like every like 2 years or whatever, and feel like I'm doing something with my life. Like, and like influencing people, helping people, have a good relationship with friends, family, significant other, whatever. But I think it's just like, but what's interesting is at my freedom session, I talked about this, and I'm much younger than all of them. So they're all quite old. They all have kids. So I'm the only one who doesn't. And I was sharing this thing that like, we still struggle with it too, even as adults. And that was very like comforting for me. 'Cause I'm like, wow. And they're like, it's gonna come. You're so young. Like, just be patient. Like, God will provide you with some kind of contentness and peace. Like, at some point, there's moments in your life where you will feel that. That was really, really cool.
That's good. That's good to hear. I feel like at our age, it is difficult because it's kind of a crappy like age range. I've been hearing, especially now.
Oh,
Pandemic.
yeah, and the market and like economy.
There's so many things. I would never be able to buy a house.
Yeah, I want to be homeless.
Lottery.
It's insane. The last two things. I just put a note put controlling.
What is
Control.
that?
Oh, like how our parents are like controlling, or like basically like you're saying how today something happened with your mom or whatever.
Oh yeah. What happened? I was trying to clean out the back vent of my hair dryer. So I was sitting on the floor with a screwdriver, like trying to get it open, and she was just standing there, hovering above me, like telling me what to do. And I was just like, okay, breathe, patience,
Patience, kindness, love.
patience. And I don't know, it was just like one of those things where I was like, is this necessary to be doing right now? Like, do you need to be telling me what to do as I'm doing this?
As an adult too. I think especially like every single time I cook in the kitchen at home, my mom always is just like hovering, like,
Oh, that's triggering.
like, but the thing is, like,
So triggering.
she was the one who's like, you should cook. So I'm like, okay, I'll cook. But then she's just telling me what to do. So then technically she's just cooking. So that kind of pisses me off. So I'm like, so why do you just do it yourself? Like, if you want to cook, then do it, right? Like, but let me figure things out.
Let me do my thing.
Let me be an adult and figure things out. You don't have to always be there. But like, I think it's just like the mother instinct of wanting to be there and like protect the children and like make sure they don't do anything wrong.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
It's definitely overwhelming.
There's a good balance though. Like, there's
Yeah.
like for me as an adult, I am like, I don't know how to do this. Let me call my parents. So if I don't know something, I will ask my parents.
Yep.
Because I trust that they will give me some kind of wisdom, or like, Mom, what kind of seasoning should I do if I want this taste? Like, I know she'll know and she'll tell me. But like, if I don't ask for advice, then I don't need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's hard to do that because I know my mom wants to help.
Yeah. But if it's just a bit too much help sometimes. I feel like I definitely have like some resentment because of that. Because it's been all my life that she's been doing that. So it's just like, every time she does it, I just get so triggered.
Do you think she just feels like she needs to? Like, it's her job?
Probably. I don't know what else. Maybe just control issues. I don't know.
It's weird.
It is weird. Especially like if you've experienced living on your own, you're like totally free and stuff, and then to come back to your parents and have them do that, it's like extra frustrating because the contrast between the two.
Okay, you know what's interesting though? I told you I was baking with my mom today. She didn't say anything.
Because it wasn't her alley.
It wasn't her alley. She didn't know. That's she asked me specifically to help her make it.
Yeah.
Why can't, like, for me, it's like, even if it was her alley, if she just did that and she'd be like, hey, just be careful of this, like, once in a while, perfect. That would have been like perfect balance. Thank you for letting me know the good tips and tricks.
That's the thing, is the way they say it too. It's never like, oh yeah, just remember, like, it's not gentle. It's just like this.
Yeah.
This. Very curt and like.
But I'm also very controlling. Like, I think my personality is like, I'm not like strangle. What's not the right
Wring
word?
someone's neck.
Like, I know that for me, it's like I do like to know what's happening in my life, and so in that way, I'm controlling. Like, if there's a project someone asks me to do, I will be in control, lead it till it's done. But if someone else is in control, I will let them do it. Like, that's
good.
the balance.
That's good.
But like, I know, like, that's probably why, my mom and I have issues, because we both are controlling. When we both, if I'm in charge of something, I will be in charge of it. If I need your help, I'll ask. But my mom is like, I'm going to be in charge of everything. Trauma.
Yep.
I hope you guys are relating to everything we're talking about, because I'm sure many of you feel the same way.
And if not, I hope that you're feeling thankful that you don't have to deal with this.
I saw this thing a couple days ago. It was like a scene from Big Bang Theory. I didn't really watch it, so I don't really know the characters. But in this video, it was this person talking to his mom. And he was saying how, like, Mom, like, I really resented you the way you treated me growing up. And it really hurt me. And, like, there's a giant list of things I need to tell you. And the mom was like, so basically a list of how I failed you as a mother. And he said, yes. And she said, I never intended to hurt you that way. But him is like, but it doesn't matter, because I still can feel things. Like, I still feel, hurt and frustrated from the things that you did to me. And so the conversation kept going on, and he was saying how she started to, have to accept him the way he is. So for him, he has to also accept her for the way she is, which is the toughest thing, because that is that's triggered the trauma, right? Is the way that, his mom treated him. And in the end of the video, I thought was really eye-opening, was that he said, I forgive you. And the mom was like, well, I didn't ask for that. And he said, it doesn't matter. I forgive you because I need to move on. And I kind of really helped me with the idea of forgiveness, is because sometimes it's actually just about yourself and being able to let go of this person, so then you can heal. Right? And not necessarily for them, because for them, they don't think they're wrong. Do you know what I mean? So that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Especially so hard to forgive someone that did you wrong. Like, that can be so hard to just, like, hold on to that. But once you do forgive that person, it's just like such a release.
And I think I always tell myself that I forgave people, but then when I see them, it triggers again. And, like, it's hard. I think it's easy to forgive somebody that's not around. Yes. But then when you see them, hell breaks loose. You're just like, oh my gosh, someone help me. Like, if I ever run into a DL, I don't know how I'm going to react.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. That's all we have planned for today's episode of Trauma. I hope you were triggered. Because Catherine and I have been triggering each other every day with TikToks.
It's a love language.
We actually love to pester each other, so I mean that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we hope that this was an eye-opening, educational kind of episode in some way. Like, I know that Catherine and I have both separately found healing in ourselves through, like, therapy and counseling and things, and so I think we both encourage you everyone listening to put your ego aside and just
dive into your emotions. It's scary, but you have to do that.
Yeah.
Do the shadow work.
Sit in it. Sit with it.
Sit
in your sadness. And deal with it now, because, like, it's like a rubber bat. It's just gonna come back and just hit you way harder if you don't deal with it. And I think it's definitely made me a happier, more joyful person because of it.
You definitely feel more at peace.
Yeah.
With yourself.
You can do it.
Important. We believe in you.
We believe in you. You can do it. Trauma
Warriors.
Trauma wars. You as an adult, if you're an adult, there are things that will have happened to you in your childhood that you could not control, but now you can decide how that's going to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Mic drop. Goodbye.
Bye. Awkwardly end the pod.
Hi everyone, RiceWashed wants to hear from you. If you have a topic you want us to discuss or a question you want answered, leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you.